Now, that's not for me to say, but do you know, if this is a really major boundary for you, really, really, really major boundary in a relationship, it's affecting your mental health, it's really effing you up, and the person constantly is, you keep having to remind them, okay, like, that's not okay. Like, you set the boundary. For me, it's like you got 3 times, after that 3rd time, you then got to back that boundary with action. Do you know what I mean? If you keep breaking this,
so you do have an allowance.
I think there has to be an allowance because people don't intentionally do it. I don't think.
Yeah.
Some people do. Don't get me wrong. Some people genuinely will, but some people also forget. Do you know what I mean? If it's been 3 months and then they break the boundary, that's not then time for you to walk up and leave. It's been 3 months. Do you know what I mean? Like, people forget stuff. That people have slept since then. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then it's just like, so I think there has to be nuance to it.
And they're not focused directly on you all the time.
No, they've got people living their own life. It's not just because this is a really important thing to you, it doesn't necessarily mean that it is to them.
Yeah.
You're important to them, but this specific thing isn't, if that makes sense. So after 3 months, they've forgotten. That's okay. Just gently remind them, can you remember we said this thing? Oh, just completely forgot, really sorry. Gets reset, off we go again. Does that make sense? That's all it is, just resetting it. Just resetting it. But if they keep stepping over it, literally after a day, a week, then it's like, listen, this is really, really important to me. If you keep breaking this, then X. And then if it comes time to it, you then have to do X. Otherwise, that's not a boundary. And there's no consequences to them breaking it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? And that sounds a bit savage, but that's what a boundary is. A boundary is not just words. That means nothing. You set the boundary with the words to articulate this is what this is. But then it's like, if you step on this, this is the potential issues.
I like what you said about how to communicate it. And it was very reflective in myself then about how I felt I used to set boundaries. And one side was I would dither around and not want to offend. So I'd be very elusive how I came across. And then when I noticed myself doing that, I did the polar opposite. And I became way too concise and demanding with that. And I didn't gain the respect of that person then.